When ordinary people think of autumn, they imagine shorter days, cozy fires, curling up with a great piece of literature, and basking in the warming scent of cinnamon with shades of burnt orange, which your other half has decided to spend the life savings on to decorate the home for only 2 months, just as God intended. Yet we must remember that this transition into the frosty abyss of winter creates the perfect conditions for the spread of the pathogen known as Halloween. This disease causes people to dress like demons and go door to door asking for free stuff. This public service announcement aims to give you the correct tool to help you deal with these contagious commie behaviors when they manifest in your local community. First, you'll want to arm yourself with multiple shots of the best-selling paperback on Amazon called The Nephilim Looked Like Clowns. With this PPE, you're fully equipped and well protected to handle what's to come next. Second, have a pumpkin spice latte and white girl autumn your time away in knitted cream shackets and pilgrim hats, because soon enough, Samhain begins. This is when the veil between the spirit realm and the physical world is at its thinnest, and possession, the main symptom of Halloween, is more commonly presented, causing this type of unironic cringe to start happening. Just look at him. This poor soul thinks he looks cool. And if you're not careful, this could be you. Together we can stop the spread of Halloween and flatten the curve. When you see fully grown adults playing dress-up and mirroring unspeakable horrors from beyond the void, remember your training and cure their vapid sense of self-identity by handing them one of our favourably reviewed treatments. Your country must develop herd immunity to seasonal cringe. So, spread the cure far and wide. Just like the cure, this disease does not discriminate by age. Emulating the infected, you will see children running around in bedsheets, knocking on doors, begging for sugary treats, and threatening to damage your well-earned property. Make sure to fill their novelty buckets with the one thing all children secretly want: a well-rounded and relatable education in biblical history. That'll stop the spread. The Nephilim Look Like Clowns and the inevitable booster volumes are currently the only known cure to thinly veiled demon channeling holidays. This is your best defense against this pandemic of spooky proportions. All you have to do is trust the science. Which you know we did, because I'm showing you people wearing lab coats and looking serious. Get your copy on Amazon today and be prepared for tomorrow. Side effects of reading The Nephilim Look Like Clowns include, but are not limited to, a feeling of existential crisis, a well-rounded knowledge of a Christian contrarian view on human history, a foundational understanding of spiritual warfare, and a healthy aversion to clowns.
Welcome everyone, come on in, sit on down. It's another episode of the Truther Therapy Sessions with me, your host, Paul Stobbs. What do you think of that intro? I don't often introduce myself by my name, but I thought I'd try something new today. And yes, that's right, I am doing this earlier than usual in the afternoon. It's just gone 1 p.m. here in Britain. And for my American listeners, I'm sure you're waking up nice and early right now, maybe 8 p.m., maybe it's 9 p.m., something like that, getting ready for work or on the way to work. But I thought, you know what? For too long, the Americans have had it all. How about I do a show for everyone else in the world who's up at a reasonable time and wide awake with a cup of coffee? So yes, Ed Gleeson, you're welcome. Here I am speaking to my Australian listeners, my British listeners, and later on in the afternoon, I'm sure my American people can tune in and listen in too. But how are we all doing, everyone? Let me just switch up the webcam here. Here I am. I'm here. Yes, I'm wearing a shirt. What do you think? I haven't worn a shirt in a very long time. You know, I used to actually wear shirts all the time. Back in the day, you know, before I discovered anything at all to do with truther topics and before I took that deep dive down to the bottom of the abyss of pointlessness and apathy and or what would you call it? Just straight up depression, I suppose. Why bother even dressing up for the day? This evil Satan is ruling the world. What's the point? You know, I used to dress quite smart quite often just because. And now I've come full circle and I've come back to everything's actually all right, God's in control, chill out, let's have a good time and, you know, do our best to expose the evil. I figured, why not? I'll start wearing shirts again. And luckily I still fit into a medium, but the dad bod is making it feel a little bit tight. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, guys, how are we all doing? We've got Cult of Con in the house. Thanks for being here. We've got Janelle, we've got PJ Couture, we've got Elohim's Medicine, Hungry Wolf, Prince Edward, we've got The Gang in, we've got Kay Holt, and we've got Amelia as well, and Candy Bear. Thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. I've got a bit of a presentation for you guys I'm going to go through soon. I've got a few things I just want to discuss first before we get into that, and what you do listen to today, this little maybe 30-minute to 40-minute presentation I'm going to do, will be cut into a separate video and released separately for those who don't want to stick around for a big, long 2-hour live show just to get the information. So you may see a repeat re-upload of what you listened to here today, with a few tweaks, with a few extra images thrown in, perhaps, because I can't resist when I get to that editing process. I can't help but just throw some extra photos in there, here and there, because that's just the way I am. But yeah, guys, in the meantime, I just want to let you all know, if you're interested in buying a signed copy of the Nephilim Look Like Clowns, I have a big stack right next to me here. I've sold a few already since it came in, but I do have some hardbacks. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hardbacks. I'm keeping this one for myself, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 paperbacks left as well. So if you are interested in getting a signed copy mailed to you personally by yours truly, just let me know. Email me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com, and we can arrange to get that sorted for you. So yeah, that's available, just letting you know. And also, I will be doing a live show tonight with Izzy N. Griffin, a musician and also host of the Couch Philosophers podcast. I had him, I was on his show a few weeks ago, discussing the Nephilim Look Like Clowns in under 40 minutes, and I've released that on my channel. But I'm going to revisit with him tonight. Hopefully, I'm waiting for confirmation from him. I'm going to go into the music industry a little bit and talk about just the general control that's within the industry, the clown influence all throughout it, and spiritual warfare aspects and what it means to sell your soul for rock and roll, all the good stuff. That may get released tomorrow, maybe Friday. Who knows, but I will be recording that tonight, so that's something to look forward to as well. And at the end of the week, what have I got? I've got something else going on Sunday as well. Let me just check my calendar here. In other news podcast. In other news radio. I'm on a radio show. We go on Sunday. I assume I'll just record that one live straight to my channel because it is being broadcast live anyway. So that's something to look forward to as well. I think that'll be a quick segment. Someone did send me a bunch of questions they want to discuss, actually. The guy who hosts that. And they're good questions. They're actually really well thought out, thorough, deep questions surrounding the Nephilim Look Like Clowns topic, which I'm quite looking forward to answering. So if you're around Sunday, look out for that one as well. That'll be going up on the channel as well. So it should be good. Kay Holt there says they've got their signed copy. Fantastic, Holt. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for all the support. It's been amazing. Yeah, I think we've sold something like 1,650 copies now since being published in July, which is fantastic. That's pretty good for a first-time author, self-published. Usually people sell about 200 copies in a year and fail. I've managed to smash that target, and we're doing quite well. I am number 1, 3, and 5 in 3 separate charts on Amazon. I think one of them circus history, circus theatre, and obscure occult knowledge or something like that. So we're in the charts. We're up there. I'm getting paired with people like the Book of Enoch rendition from Timothy Alberino and the Blurry Creatures podcast. I'm getting paired with Gary Wayne's book as well, the Genesis 6 Conspiracy. It's quite good. So Amazon's doing the sales thing and pairing me with like books. So it's an honor and a privilege to be on par with those people according to Amazon's algorithm. I'm not saying I am, but it's nice to see that, that the work has paid off in some way. So wonderful. But yeah, thanks for getting your own signed copy. I really appreciate it. I don't make any extra money when you do the signed copy stuff. After print and postage, it's roughly about the same, with a bit extra on top, just because of obviously the signed stuff. It's going to cost more than getting a normal one. But if you do want to buy one from me personally, rather than going through Amazon, you can pay the same price you would pay on Amazon. And I would get more money if you want to do it that way. Or you could just order it through Amazon yourself, either way. But there's ways around it. Someone who didn't want to go through Amazon because they got issues with it, which is fair enough. They got me to personally send it to them instead. And they just received theirs yesterday. So there we go. There are things you can do. Now, that being said, there's a debate I want to settle. A bit of fun before we start. But obviously, a lot of people out there like to look at me and think, that guy right there, he's ginger, and I get it. I mean, look, with the lighting in here, it's an orange light bulb. I understand. The beard does have tints of orange in it. I get it. A bit of a dark brown orange thing. If I turn on this light here, I'll give it a bit more oomph. As you can see, I get a bit closer. Yeah, there's hints of it. I do have freckles, I'll admit. I don't tan. Fair enough. And yes, the beard. Yeah, fair enough. I'll say that's ginger. But this up here, when you look at it closely, it's gold, really. It's not orange, exactly, And I've joked that I'm strawberry blonde, but I'm not even strawberry blonde, really, because I don't have any real red in this when you actually look at it. It's more like an ashy golden blonde colour. And I just want to prove this argument once and for all. I'm going to settle this debate that I'm not actually ginger. If I get rid of the beard, it's not anymore, is it? It's the beard that tricks you. You kind of see the beard and you blend the colour into this and you see what isn't actually there. It's an illusion. You see orange where there is no orange. Now, the thing about ginger people, they're born that way. It's like it's a recessive gene manifesting forward. And, ginger people are ginger from birth. They have orange hair as a baby and it's unchangeable. And that's how you know if you're a true genetic ginger, let's say. So, my mum and dad showed me a picture. And here's baby Paul. There you go, I know. Look at it. And as you can see, my hair was white when I was born. Pure blonde. Look at that. Not a hint of orange in sight. My eyebrows, they're invisible practically because they're white. And even today, they're a little bit white with a few brown hairs running through. So this settles the debate once and for all. No, I'm not actually ginger. You just keep saying I am for some reason. And that's fine. That's understandable. But there you go. Debate ended. Genetically, I'm blonde. Right, there we go. A bit of fun. That's over with. How's everyone doing in the chat? So we've got a few people. We've got 100 people here now. That's great. That's a good threshold. Probably a good position to actually start doing this little this thing. I'm going to have a quick sip of coffee from my Costa cup. This is actually my second cup. I just refilled it with my own coffee. But you often don't catch me when I'm on my coffee kick because I don't drink coffee after like 6 p.m. No caffeine rule. And I always do my late shows at like 9 p.m. or something like that for the American audience. So it's like 4 p.m. for you guys. But you're catching me while I'm on caffeine. So maybe this will be a bit of a fast-talking, fast-paced show. Who knows? Yeah, guys. Any comments on the ginger thing before I get going here? Is this what my son calls cope? Yeah. The thing is, the only reason it doesn't actually bother me. You want to call me ginger? Fine, call me ginger. All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. I do have a ginger beard. Yes, I'll admit. The one thing that I'm noticing happening quite a lot recently is I have this topic called the Nephilim look like clowns, which is specifically about monstrous half-human, half-angel serpent hybrid beasts. You know what I mean? Really horrible monsters that aren't human. And I show through a lot of my depictions, when I get my slideshows up here, I try and show that people are trying to dress like them in these tribes, and they're not human looking when they're around. They don't look like people. Okay, far from it. Not even close to people. Like, they are serpent-human hybrids. They are truly, monstrous things with monstrous forms, and the clown is like a caricatured version of this monstrous half-human, half-serpent hybrid. And what I've found is, since I've obviously made this connection and made this point, there's this contingent of researchers out there who want to take my work and pervert it down the bloodline, ginger people are the descendants of Nephilim route. And that's just ridiculous. And it's borderline racist and eugenicist type genocidal talk when you get to the bottom of the conclusions of that type of thinking. And it's not at all anything to do with my research or what I have tried to propagate and explain. What I believe is that the Nephilim looked like clowns, and clowns are modeled after the Nephilim. Okay, and the Nephilim were half human, half dragon. They looked terrifying to behold, and not at all human. Barely human. Here's Medusa, for example. They were something else. But then you get this kind of quasi-evolutionist type conspiracy thinkers out there who want to get things like Cro-Magnon involved and early man and Neanderthals and all this nonsense, which is made up by the mainstream anyway, and try and pervert my work into some kind of racist anti-ginger spiel. And it has nothing to do with ginger people. Like, absolutely nothing to do with them whatsoever. Ginger people are human beings made in the image of God from Adam, just like every other race is. Well, we all go back to Adam, okay? But these things that you see on the screen here, the Nephilim, these are not human and have no relation to ginger people whatsoever. So I would like to ask kindly, without pointing any names out, stop perverting my work. Stop clouding what I've worked hard to do with this stupid interpretation that, oh, well, you know, other races saw ginger people for the first time and didn't know how to interpret it, so these are actually the Nephilim hybrids with a certain specific bloodline. It's like, no, it's nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing at all to do with that. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So I'm just making that clear. Right? I suppose this is why I just want to make a point about the ginger thing. And I did actually make a joke about this in the Telegram group. Maybe I can get it up quickly while this slideshow's running and show you what I did as kind of like a running gag to say, just to point out how utterly ridiculous it actually is. Yeah, I'll show you guys here quickly. Let me just flip the screen. There you go, you can see it. So this is on the Telegram group. And as you can see, let's play a game. Let's play Spot the Difference, shall we? So, this one's really tough. There are a few differences, in these two images. I know it's hard to tell the difference, but there actually are differences between these two beings, believe it or not. But I know it's difficult. I know. They're practically the same thing, aren't they? I mean, if you go to this one's really tough. I mean, you look at that, and you can see, yep, they're definitely the same creature. Absolutely the same thing, and and these Spot the Differences just get harder as they go. I mean, that these two are practically impossible to distinguish from one another. Practically identical. I mean, who can tell the difference between these two? You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, ginger people are the descendants of reptilian hybrid serpent monsters. There's no other way it could possibly go. It couldn't be that they're just human beings who happen to lack melanin. No, it's definitely that they are the descendants of demons. It's the only explanation. Anyway, a bit of fun. But yeah, it's utterly ridiculous to think that that's the case and that's what's going on. And like I said, there are no good conclusions from that line of thought. It always leads to basically racism at its basic level and eugenics at its worst. It's stop it. It's not clever. Okay, it has no basis in reality, and do not associate the Nephilim look like clowns with that stupid theorizing. I want nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with my work. So there we go. Anyways, yeah, so people in the comments naturally probably have something to say about that. They always do. Someone, my wife has blocked a comment that says, "Get on with it, man. Hey, listen, this is a show. All right? This is a back and forth. The presentation will come, and it'll be trimmed and put out separately from all of this. If you want to wait till that, then bugger off and wait. Because what am I supposed to? This is my channel. I'll stall if I want to. Is all I'm going to say. I'm trying to have a bit of fun here. This is the truth of therapy session. This is a place where people can just listen to somebody speak their mind and their ideas that other people have, and it's nice to hear other people talk about their ideas, isn't it? It's nice to not feel alone a little bit. This is a community. I'm letting people in the chat have a bit of a conversation and make some fellowship. There's more going on here than just me ranting on about Elon Musk. But that being said, I have seen some things lately regarding Elon Musk that I want to talk about. They've been on my mind, and I'm late to the game, but I do like to come at these things after they've been like a hot topic, to kind of get past that initial hype, let things simmer down, let a few other things come out from it first before I discuss things. And I'll share the screen with you, and let's go through a few things, a few tabs I've kind of gathered that emphasize my point that we're about to discuss. So yeah, Elon Musk has been in the news quite a lot in the past 2 weeks, and he first kind of came to people's public attention in a big way again when he was seen at that rally supporting Donald Trump. And let me just get the screen up here. So there's the show, there's the statistics I can see. But yeah, it started with whatever the hell this was going on. whatever this is happened, and he turns up with this black hat at this rally saying, ominous things, like this could be the last election, if you guys don't vote for Trump, this could be the end of everything. That kind of odd ominous thing while he does this weird cringy jumping in the background here. I mean, weird. Just weird, isn't it? You just look at this, he's like, what is going on? I've heard people say this is the Freemasonic hand gesture for the sign of distress or something like that. And maybe that is what's going on. It could be a Freemasonic gesture of some kind, or it could just be a out of touch billionaire just being weird, not really knowing how to behave in public properly. let's assume ignorance before malevolence. But as the rest of this presentation goes on, I think we can start to make a solid case for malevolence, maybe. But yeah, this happened, and obviously this guy was brought back into the limelight, back into the forefront, all mixed in with this extremely contentious time in human history, American politics, where it's like a make or break election like never before seen, and it plays into that whole Q phenomena of the white hats and then the black hats, the good guys, the good magicians versus the bad magicians, trust the plan, and kind of lining Trump up to be some kind of savior of everything. But at the same time, Elon Musk has got his own savior narrative going on, hasn't he? It seems to be surrounding this man. You find there's this ongoing theme of he's going to help us ascend out of our limitations to a new world, to a better world, to a futuristic utopia where we get to travel to Mars, and, we're integrated with technology in a positive way, in a way that can only benefit mankind in our advancement towards an evolutionary perfection of some kind. Yeah. And then, this happened, and then like a week later, I was on Telegram, and I think Mark posted like this video of the Wii robot showcase of the new emerging technology out of Tesla, and it was so bizarre. Let's see if I can find it here. Was it? It's up here somewhere. Let me have a look. Yeah, this thing. It showed me this video, and it showed this bus. Is it a bus? I don't know. This clunky looking thing. Kind of rock up, and then I don't know, Elon Musk comes out, or a few tech billionaires come out, or some people come out of this bus, kind of like a clown car. It's like a never-ending stream of people coming out of this clown bus, whatever. And this wasn't just this video; it was also like a full showcase of everything. And I can't find it here now; it's gone, it's vanished. But after watching it, watching Elon Musk kind of walk out of this hotel over a compass with one of his astronauts wearing some up-to-date modern astronaut costume, which is now a lot more slimlined, a lot sleeker, a lot more up-to-date with the modern view of space travel. Not like those clunky spacesuits you used to wear in the past, if you remember, And it's and even then, just on that note, it's kind of like these new modern like SpaceX spacesuits. Let me just type in like SpaceX. You look at these things, they're like super slimlined, aren't they? And it's kind of like, this would not protect you from like the vacuum of icy cold space, as they describe it. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like, back in the day, these space costumes matched what the media was showing. You know what I mean? The big clunky space costumes. And now, obviously, modern movies have caught up and are showing more slimlined, modern, futuristic costumes. They've had to kind of match it in the real world. Something like that happening. It's kind of like, what a load of nonsense. What a load of nonsense. And just off the cuff, is that guy doing the Baphomet symbol there? Here he is. What do you know? But anyway, Yeah, that just made me laugh. So Elon Musk rocks out with his astronauts and gets into his AI-powered car, which drives him just slightly round the corner, where he gets out and walks up a red carpet onto stage and then presents his brand new robots and all this kind of thing. And you know what? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So we have like this article here, and it's saying, the Robo-Van, the new Optimus model, the AI, key takeaways from Tesla's We Robot event. The We Robot event hosted by Elon Musk and Tesla showcased Tesla's advancement in AI robotics with key announcements surrounding autonomous vehicles, the Tesla Bot, Optimus, and other cutting-edge technology. Here's the detailed breakdown. The humanoid robot. And obviously, this guy's clearly a fan of, the media we can all relate to. We're talking about Transformers, so he called his first one Bumblebee, after a Transformers character, mainly because of the whirring noise it makes, I believe. It sounds like a buzzing bee. And then the model kind of adapted a little bit, got a bit sleeker, got some armor on there, and this is Optimus Gen 1. And then a year later, Gen 2 comes out, looking a bit more human, a bit more bulked out, got a bit more armor on there, hiding what's going on behind the scenes. And this thing was making cocktails for people, doing basic little patterns and formations, things that can run quite simply without making mistakes, just to showcase how amazing the technology has come. And it says here, reintroduction of Optimus. It's humanoid robots. It controlled remotely with human assistance, performing basic tasks like walking around and serving drinks. Musk outlined its future capabilities as an autonomous assistant that can manage household chores, caregiving, and companionship. And it'll be affordable at a simple price of $20,000 to $30,000. Nice and cheap, making it more accessible for personal and industrial use. So coming to a home near you, the new at-home babysitter. Go out, watch a movie while your Optimus robot cares for your infant. Why not, eh? And, looking for a bit of companionship, feeling lonely? Well, don't worry, we have the luxurious boyfriend and or girlfriend package for you. Get yourself a love robot while you're at it. And come on. It's laughable and terrifying at the same time. And I think you'll get why I'm laughing as it goes on. I'll explain myself later. But we're selling robo-taxis, AI-powered taxi services. With the AI5 hardware, we have this sleek-looking machine here, which picked Elon Musk up and took him round the corner to his little stage, the Model Y and the Model 3 Tesla models. And we have a new AI hardware. It's the 5.0 version. And it's saying it's much safer than human drivers. Far fewer accidents than human drivers. You can't fault AI technology when it comes to awareness. Its processing power is far beyond a human brain. And then we have the Robo-Van, this soulless looking vessel with hardly any windows. And again, this could replace things like, buses and trams and trains. And it's, again, a lot safer, has its track it runs along. And it's just a better looking future, isn't it, And again, AI, fully self-driving technology, super intelligence and safety, and a human-robot interaction, So it was basically just a showcase of the film I, Robot made manifest. And it's funny, because there's actually an article about this saying the guy who created I, Robot is furious that he basically just copied everything from his film. So, Alex Proyas, the director behind the 2004 sci-fi film I, Robot, has accused Tesla CEO Elon Musk of borrowing a little too heavily from his cinematic designs for the company's latest line of robots. At a Tesla event last week, appropriately titled We Robot, Musk unveiled 3 new creations: the Optimus humanoid robot, the Cybercab, and the Robo-Van. Proyas claims these look suspiciously familiar, and he's not shy about calling it out. The 20-year-old movie, set in a near future where robots serve humanity under strict laws, tells the story of Detective Del Spooner, played by Will Smith, as he investigates a conspiracy involving a seemingly rogue robot. The film's iconic aesthetics, from its sleek minimalist vehicles to humanoid robots, have sparked some déjà vu with the introduction of Musk's latest robotic creations. Taking Musk's own social media platform X, formerly Twitter, Proyas quipped, "Hey Elon, can I have my designs back please?" And here's a picture of them, okay? And you know what? It is identical. it is pretty much the exact same. I mean, look at this. Let's just zoom in. Let's zoom in. You know, so we got the Will Smith robots here, and then we got these things here as well. But then you look at this like car, this concept car by Audi, it's pretty much the same. You can't really, you know, the door opens the other way perhaps, you know, and then down here you've got this van, and then you've got this thing, and it's kind of, it's even got the horizontal stripes on the side. You know? It's kind of, they're having a laugh, aren't they? These people are having a laugh at us. They are taking the piss, you know, for a British colloquialism. This is a bit on the nose, isn't it? You want to talk about predictive programming. This is a plan 20 years in the making made manifest. And it's kind of like, they've even got the film producers in on the joke. You know, hey Elon, can I have my designs back? Lol. You know, just kidding. And it's kind of similar to the Robovan designed to transport the 20 people with a smooth Art Deco inspired interior. Mirrors the futuristic aesthetics iRobot brought to the big screen. Even the Optimus humanoid robot showcase serving drinks at the Tesla event have drawn comparisons to the robotic servants in iRobot. I mean, come on, Musk called it We Robot. He knew exactly what he was doing. Like, this is all well in advance planned. This is not like an accident that it looks identical to the movie. You know, backing Proyas up is Matt Granger, a former assistant in iRobot, who didn't mince words when addressing Musk on social media. Though his post has since disappeared, Granger fired off a harsh critique at Musk's perceived lack of creativity, delivering what he called a full-fingered FU, as quoted by The Hollywood Reporter. It's like, whatever, they're all in on it. They're all in on it. There's no Musk stole our ideas nonsense. It's theatre, it's show, it's drama for us, the plebs, to read and go, ooh, would you look at this? You know, such drama, how intriguing, how interesting, what an amazing future we're living in, you know? And it's kind of, no, they're all in on it. There's no real feud here. There's no drama. This was well in advance prepared. What they are referencing here in iRobot and making a joke out of is that they have predictively programmed you for these coming technologies to prepare your mind for when they arrive to accept them more readily, because it's nothing new to you. It's not a new concept to see vehicles and robots like this, because you've already been pre-programmed through the media, through the programming. So your reaction to it is dumbed down, it's nullified, it's passive, it's apathetic, it's bored. It's not, whoa, look at these crazy things. I wonder what the potential for the damage of these could be in the future. Instead, it's, oh, we've seen this before in that film 20 years ago. What's next instead? It's that kind of, that's how programming works. That's how brainwashing works. And this article that just came out makes me laugh because it's fitting the pattern perfectly. They're all in on it. There's no real feud here. Okay, what a joke! What an absolute joke! They're playing us for fools. You know, they know we're idiots who have been brainwashed. The majority of us, you know, we're all idiots, just begging for more. Give us more enslavement, please. Oh, please! I can't wait for you to give this robot a gun. Do it. Go on, do it, Elon. Make life more exciting. That's what most people are like. And we're going to get into the fanboying of Elon Musk in a minute, actually, because it's funny. But yeah, moving on from that. So there was this show, you know, first Elon rocks up, jumping up and down like a weirdo behind Donald Trump and talking apocalyptic talk about you better vote for Trump or else. And then he starts releasing all this dystopic representations of robots and vehicles, literally copying an image of a dystopic future of killer robots and total technocratic AI control from a film called iRobot. He just copy and paste it into the future 20 years later in his own show. And, you know, most people are making memes and just joking about it. Like, whatever. Like, not really seeing the bigger picture unfold here before their eyes. And then, not long after this, boom, what does he do? He lands this amazing thing back onto Earth, right? From space. You know, one of the boosters gets saved and people in the flesh, you know, undeniable proof that Elon Musk is space travel. You want to get to know anytime soon.
Megadilla has caught the booster.
I couldn't help but notice. And by coincidence, I was actually at my parents' house with my wife. My dad had the news on. something I don't watch. I don't watch TV, but they do, you know. And I saw this happening, and me and my wife are looking at each other, and we're laughing. We're like, this looks ridiculous. This doesn't look right. This looks odd. And my first initial joke was, I think they're just playing a video in reverse. You know what I mean? To make it look like they've managed to catch it. But really, it was just setting off, and they've just played it backwards for you to make it look like it was landing again. You know, that's what initially, and then they quickly cut to this image they have here of this one that's already laying on some prongs to say, yep, we definitely caught it, guys. Why couldn't they have this video cam up as it was landing? Couldn't they have showed you that instead, you know? But whatever. What got me first was this. Ready? It's coming up now. Let me make this full screen. I've got to make this full screen for you to get the full impact. It's this bit here. And you see all these people absolutely losing their minds, you know, screaming like sycophants because this thing landed, you know, from space. And you got this guy like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Look at this. It's unbelievable. As if this just happened. Elon, you're a god. I love you so much, Elon. It's kind of like they're screaming with just absolute disbelief that a metal tube has landed on two pieces of metal. And I couldn't help but look at this. Looking at this. Sorry. Look at this guy. All right, let's just we'll unexpand so I can maybe get a good zoom in. You know, you look at this guy right here. And this reminds me stereotypically, quite literally, of this meme. The soy jack. Like, it's uncanny how close it is. You know? Like this dude and this dude over here. And it's just sad, isn't it? It's a sad state of affairs. It really is. You know, these are the ones that are like, ha, foolish Christian, got you now, as they're pulling up their glasses, you know, back up to like, that is just that, isn't it? It's the same thing. You're looking at the same picture. And look at them, there's loads of them. It just makes me laugh. It really makes me laugh. I know. I shouldn't poke fun like this. But it's weird, isn't it? They all look the same. They've all got this similar the style about them. Is just, can you believe this? We're so advanced, you know. And they got the whole. I don't know. I just thought I'd point that out as well. That was the first thing I noticed, and I couldn't help myself. I really just couldn't help myself. That crowd is just this image right here, isn't it? That is this. It gets more and more. The more I look into it, the funnier it gets. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I can't. It makes me laugh so much. And I hope you're laughing too, guys, because we should be laughing at this, because the sycophantry is a bit scary, really. So we have to laugh because these people obviously think they're so smart. They think they're so brilliant, and we have, you know, the usual flat Earth Dave here, literally calling them stupid. And it's kind of like, but social proof, it's real. We've got these witnesses, you know, and then people are like in the comments are just as sycophantic, and they're like, there was loads of people filming this, you know, from like miles away across the water. There was loads of eyewitness events. This thing really did happen. And it's kind of like, you have your controlled opposition, anti-truther, truther, head-to-head battles going on. And I'm looking at the fights, and I'm like, you know, people probably did see a thing come out the sky and land on the smell podium. It probably did actually happen. But, you know, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and we have to get a little bit deeper, and let's just scratch beneath the surface a little bit more. And this the same guy, you know, made his own video a while back. Here it is. And I don't want to watch the video, but he does point out that this rocket here, as you can see, does glitch out in a second, and it does begin to miss the top part of the rocket. It vanished, and then it comes back, as he just showed. Sorry, let's just scroll back up. I'm trying to I call this the Tupac rocket. I'm trying and failing, should I say, to get that zoom in image. There it vanishes, and then
And we found out
pops
it's
back
from a
in.
holographic
There you go.
projection company.
And he's saying, he zoomed in on some of these things that are around the launch pad, and they have on there this company's name and a number you can search. And as he's explaining here, he Googled it, and we found out it's from a holographic projection company. So it could be, and this is not a joke, but it could genuinely be that this thing that everyone witnessed, which did seem to happen, this thing falling from the sky and landing, is quite literally a holographic projection. It's all just a part of the plan. And is, not only did he say those things, obviously, were projectors below, but if you look at this, it was 33 Raptor engines that set off the initial rocket, and this is the thing that fell back down that they caught, and it's 33. The number 33 crops up quite a lot whenever the occult's involved, doesn't it? And then on the side of the Tesla arm robot again was the number 33. What a coincidence. What are the odds, eh? And it's funny because this has caused a lot of debates and arguments, and you get the soy jack types like saying, "Ha, checkmate, Christians." Proof that we can travel to and from space with the rockets, proof that we are going to advance and become superhuman, and there's nothing you can do about it. Cope harder, seethe, why don't you? And it's kind of, you see these type of petty, weird little back and forth happening in the comment sections to these, because it is ridiculous to say that, this just didn't happen. But that's kind of the dichotomy they want to create, isn't it? They're both believing in absurdities. It's more than likely that maybe they did catch a rocket coming from space. The biggest delusion, the biggest lie we need to realize here is that we're in an enclosed system and nobody's traveling to space. There is no future trip to Mars, as we've kind of been promised, That isn't happening. Okay, but Elon Musk, getting back to the main point of all this, he does seem to be being positioned as that guy who's going to get us there. The future savior of mankind, shall we say. He's the one that's going to get us off this dying rock. He's the one that's going to help us ascend to new dimensions in a way. And he's going to make us superhuman and make us live forever. And he really is being set up as like an antichrist or a Christ-like figure. And, just to further compound this, if you look at the latest news for Neuralink. So Neuralink is another company Elon Musk is heading up, and a research team who are developing a human technology interface, which is basically plugging straight into the brain type stuff. And when you actually get into this, let me just check why my phone's popping off there. Okay, it's not my wife telling me everything's cut out and nobody can hear me. Okay, but so when you get into this, you realize it's talking about how they're going to cure the blind. Specifically, you see a lot of this, but the latest ones is something else. Neuralink's top surgeon is even-handed counterbalance to Musk. Okay, so they're always playing out. We're always being careful, guys. We're being ethical about this. We're not going to cross any boundaries. We're going to make sure we're in control at all times. Elon Musk has been known to talk about, we're basically summoning the demon here, guys, with AI. We've got to put checks in place to make sure humanity never fails, and never gets beaten by these. But here you have these, Musk gets approval for blind sight device to restore vision, and it's been FDA approved, his new Neuralink technology, which will help bring vision to the blind. And I think we already know about a savior, don't we? Especially we Christians, who went around restoring the sight of the blind, and in some cases we have the apostles taking away the sight of some people, but the power over sight and giving it back, that was strictly Jesus's domain. And now we're being told in the modern age, men can do that too. We can perform the same miracles through technological means. We have the means and the methods today to restore people's sight. Basically, I am God. It's what Elon's trying to say here in some ways. Kind of like, who needs God when you've got me? That's basically Elon's attitude about the whole thing, without ever actually saying it, But he is being framed as like a savior of mankind. That's definitely what's going on here. And I'm telling you, this is all pre-planned Masonic theatre. Through and through. The 33s confirm it as far as I'm concerned. And as we go with holographic technology, most people, and I'm not talking to this captive audience I have here, I'm sure all you guys are wide awake and know this, but holographic technology is way beyond what the public are aware of. I'm talking like massively leaps and bounds futuristic levels ahead of what most people think it is. Okay, it is ridiculous how far ahead it actually is. And they've hinted at it, through movies here and there. I think Spider-Man Far From Home is a good example, of that guy uses loads of drones to recreate disasters, and it was all orchestrated to trick Spider-Man into thinking, he was the good guy when really he wasn't. All that nonsense that gets trickled down into films, what they're showing you, they're hinting to you there, what the literal capabilities they have with technology today, what they can make it look like that's happening. And this typical argument you hear, people witnessed it, people filmed it on their phones, it's got to be real, It's kind of, yeah, but they're like 20 miles away or 10 miles away across the way. They're not next to this thing. They're not filming it right next to them. And, it can make a lot of things look like they're happening from that distance that look pretty convincing, But when you get up close, like Mr. Dave there was trying to explain, if you look at the markings on these things on the floor around this launch pad, and follow the serial numbers, it leads back to companies that are involved with holographic technology. Now, maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But I'm leaning more towards that they're going to create signs and wonders that we will believe quite easily today with that holographic technology. And what we saw there, this rocket booster coming down, the public are being sold like this is one step closer to cheap space travel, guys. But really what it likely was a test to see how people will react to holographic technology. Will they believe it or not? That was probably the esoteric reason behind that whole public event. Exoterically, what they want the public to take from it is that, a leap forward in the step towards space travel. And that's how the occult works. There's two methods to everything. It's a game, and it's a big club, and you're not in it. They're messing with us. They're pre-programming us here. And everything surrounding that guy is kind of like a savior narrative. It's all scripted, of course. And the fact that his name's Elon, this is just a random off-the-cuff thing, I'm not going to go deep into it, but the fact that his name begins with L, which is the name given to the Elohim, or the sons of God, or the angels, or even God himself, it's a kind of like a title that denotes God, or godlike, and he's called Elon, or Elon. It's just, there's something odd about that. just going to bring that up there. But yeah, as someone said there in the chat, Musk is a face, not a brain. He's the figurehead. He's going to be there with probably Trump in the future when the fake alien invasion kicks off. And Adam, one of my subscribers here, sent me linked something to me actually in X, which is quite telling actually. Let's see if I can get it up quickly and share it with you guys. But it's talking about, so we've been talking about for a while on this channel, and I've been talking about for a while on this channel, about the millennial kingdom of Christ already happening. Okay, and if it's already happened, that means we are now in the little season of Satan, where Satan takes full technocratic control of everything, basically, through his own means, to be as God. So he's trying to replace God in everything, probably likely through technology. It seems to be the method at play here. So he's going to mimic what God can do through technology instead. Okay, we're seeing that manifest with these things like Neuralink, space travel, holographic technologies, whatever. Signs and wonders will be performed. God-like imagery will be projected, and we'll believe it, and we'll be in awe at the things and the displays that are being put in front of us. So that comes part and parcel with the little season. But what we know comes next is a great war of some kind between Gog and Magog, the final war in which the camp of saints is surrounded. And I've kind of been looking into this, and I have my own theory and concept and idea that, they're going to fake an alien invasion. When the camp of saints rocks up or appears, or the New Jerusalem, which would have descended during the 1,000-year reign in some way, Mount Zion appears. It's basically a giant floating cube and or pyramid, depending on which interpretation we want to make of the measurements. but it's like 1,600 kilometers wide. It's enormous. It will cover the sides of like America and then some. It's like the vast size of the Atlantic Ocean. You know, this thing will be seen from every corner of the earth all at once when it does manifest. It's going to look insane. But from our perceptions, it's going to look like basically an enormous mothership has just rocked up. And the programming, all the programming, for the past 100 years since the War of the Worlds, you know, has been to convince people that aliens are going to turn up at some point. From space, vast, infinite, never-ending, infinite possibilities and planet space, you know. But none of it's true. There is no vast, infinite possibilities planet space out there. It's an enclosed system. And we're it. We're at the epicenter of it all, you know. It's a geocentric creation, shall we say. With that lie already set and pretty well ingrained, with the evolutionary lie also matched and set and, you know, given to everybody in school, and the indoctrination is solid on those two aspects. Yes, we live on a ball in space and we're evolving and getting better. So that primes people for the growing technology, to accept it and not question it, because it's all helping mankind advance and evolve and take control of their own evolution through the singularity, you know? And at the same time, it's helping mankind free themselves from the shackles of this dying rock in a vast infinite universe of possibilities, and we will explore all these possibilities. But it also sets the stage for life out there can come to us. And when you think from the perspective of the little season, that New Jerusalem will appear. At some point, the veil will be lifted and we'll see the kingdom of God, quite literally his bride, his floating city, New Jerusalem, Zion, a mountain in the sky, floating and descending down to earth to be established for the eternal kingdom of the new heaven and earth. Well, if you've been thoroughly following the programming, most people are not going to interpret it as Jesus Christ and New Jerusalem turning up. They're going to interpret it as aliens have come to attack us. That is a mothership from space, because that's all the programming has taught them. That's all they've got. That's their only internal monologue, like data points they can piece together to interpret what they're witnessing. They have nothing else to fall back on other than the films they've watched and the books they've read, you know. And if it's not been the Bible or following Jesus, then all they've got is the worldly explanation, which would be space aliens. And then you can convince the whole world to surround it. Aliens are here, let's get them. That's going to be the predominant view. And they'll probably get people there by faking a fake alien invasion. So when that thing appears, everybody gets attacked by flying saucers and monsters from beyond the void, you know. They release the Nephilim horde from underground bases and bunkers and cities that have been hidden from us for centuries. And they'll release all the technology that we've been building, like flying saucers. And they'll convince the Earth we're under attack by aliens, probably all coming from that giant mothership in the sky, you know. And then once that first attack is pushed back, because good aliens turn up and save us all or something, I don't know, which will be the fallen angels, no doubt, posing as the saviors of mankind, as the gods, the ancient gods of the past or something. They'll rock up and fight back all the evil invading monsters and flying saucers, and then they'll say to mankind, that was just the first wave. The second wave is coming, and you need to prepare, and we're here to help you. So you can join the Galactic Federation, and we can fight back against this evil scourge that is going around destroying all the planets. You know, and if all you have to do is just take our technology, take our knowledge, take our advancements and evolve to be like us, and you will be saved. Again, posing as God, trying to be like God, offering eternal life and salvation, but through their technological means. That's likely our future, guys. All the programming's going there. Everything's pointing towards that happening, and Elon Musk is just one tiny, pathetic player in pushing forward that agenda. He's not the savior of mankind. He's nothing. He's a person. He's a human. He's a patsy at best. And he's just the face of it all. He's just contributing a few steps closer to that point. And, you know, 2025, according to the Theosophists, you know, this 150-year-old think tank who follows the specific belief system that there will be a coming world teacher who will unite all the religions together as one. And he will basically be Buddha and Jesus and everyone combined together as one, all the saviors of every religion, you know. And he'll say, you all kind of almost had it right, but you were all thinking about me, the betrayer. And here I am now to teach mankind. And he'll probably be a part of that alien invasion agenda, no doubt. He'll probably, maybe, I don't know the timings. I'm spitballing here, you know, but let's say the betrayer turns up first. And he says, aliens are coming. They're gonna get you guys, you know. And I'm here to prepare you for that first invasion. First invasion happens, massive loss of life, but we just push them back. So I don't know what order it's going to go in, you know, but something like this is going to happen. This is what all the programming is prepping you for. I don't know when. Is it going to be 2025? Probably not. I think there's a lot more to do. It certainly feels like everything's coming to a head, doesn't it? You know, with this coming election fear that everyone's got in their minds, you know. There might be like a pendulum swing first where everything seems to be getting perfect and better, you know. And then suddenly, boom, New Jerusalem rocks up and everything's terrible and horrible again. I don't know. Who knows, you know. But what I do know is all this hype over Elon Musk and his advancing technologies, all this stuff, you know. All the fights and squabbles it's causing in between. It's just theatre. It's drama. It's a show. You know, and it's also to rile up many Christians who are still in the Jesus is about to return for tribulation and establish the millennial kingdom people, the futurists, the chosen people of Israel people, you know, the dispensational types. It's to get them all stoked up. It's like, Elon Musk is the antichrist. He's bringing the mark of the beast, you know. He's playing the antichrist role. He's just one of many, actually, who have played that role. And there'll always be a new antichrist, guys. There's always going to be a new person to replace the old one to push forward this agenda. Who will always appear as though he's the antichrist, you know, in preparation for the coming Jesus to save us all, you know. And then the utter destruction and everything that's going to come upon us. This is all just signs that, you know, Christ is about to return and establish his kingdom. But what if it's already happened? If it's already happened, then everything you're seeing now is just cheap theatre. It's a pathetic excuse for the real thing that did happen. When tribulation happened, and I believe it did happen, it was utter destruction to which hardly any flesh survived. Those days had to be cut short, in fact, for that reason. And what was left after the initial destruction was nothing. A barely clinging on population of people. And complete destruction of infrastructure. A few things left, perhaps. Not much. Utter displacement of all. And there's evidence all over the earth that things have been melted. Under fervent heat, utter destruction has come upon this earth. It's very clear. I mean, have you actually seen the Grand Canyon from like an elevated point? That doesn't look like a giant whip of electricity just utterly annihilating the midsection of America. I don't know what it could be. I don't know what that thing is. That is electrical phenomena. That is not water. Okay, that is, what do they call them? I can't remember the pattern name now, but there's a name specifically for that style you see, you know. You can do the same effect by putting electricity on a piece of wood and watching the electricity travel. It creates the same pattern as what you see the Grand Canyon is. It's electrical phenomena. It's fervent heat. You know, when you look at places like Cappadocia in Turkey, it's literally just melted mountains and buildings. Just melted like wax, as it's described will happen in tribulation. And there's lots of wax-like melted buildings scattered all throughout the earth. Have you seen Siberia? It's a wasteland. There's nothing there. It's been pelted with rocks and just utterly destroyed. Utter destruction has come to this earth already, is what I'm saying. Tribulation has happened. And we're squatting in the remnants of the millennial kingdom that came after. And there may have been some buildings left from the previous beast kingdom, you know, Rome, shall we call it. And since the millennial kingdom has ended, the new revival of Rome has come back. The devil just picked up where he left off before he was locked up for 1,000 years. And he's being very, very busy in this time. And he is going to make it look like tribulation is happening again, so he can reappear and basically say, I'm Jesus. Here I am, as God, pretending to be God. And you all believe I am God. Because I convinced you all, you're still waiting for him to return. It's not like, Jesus fulfilled his promise to the people in the time when he was around that he would come back quickly. No. It was 2,000 years later. And here I am, that's what's going to happen. And I don't know how many people are going to actually be aware of this truth when it comes to the unveiling. I don't know how it's all going to play out. I know there's a few of us here who seem to be aware of it, but we're a small number of people. What have I got? 240 people here now listening to this idea with an open mind. And that's not a lot of people. It's not a lot of people. And, in the title of this, I've got, The Great Deception. And Musk and his technology. Again, it's just a small stepping stone stuff. It's not the biggest deal. Okay. And, he's just there to play the role of the false savior. And there'll probably be someone else after him. I don't know how long a little season is. I really don't. I don't even know when it began. It's possible it only began in 2001. And it wasn't 1776 like everyone seems to think it is. That was still in the throes of the millennial kingdom when all that stuff was going down. But it was the back end of the millennial kingdom when mankind was falling and being corrupt again through their own selfish, sinful ways. They didn't need the devil to be evil. But there were certainly evil people in the world preparing the way for the devil to come back and be released from the pit. And it's possible that release happened in 2001. Just after the turn of our calendar's millennium, as we describe it. But that timeline's totally messed up. I know that. And so who knows? Maybe the short season really is a short season, and we're only, 23 years into it? And a season by most biblical standards, I think it's 44 years or 40 years, something like that. And I know, I think Shelley from There's No Place Like Home has been getting into the argument of how short a season actually is. And a season traditionally is about 40 years, biblically speaking. And a short season is shorter than that. And she says, so we can't possibly be in the little season, because a short season in terms of language doesn't allow biblically for 250 years. But her theory, although very valid, doesn't account for the possibility that the short season did just begin very recently. So there is that too, And again, I'm not saying I have the right answer here, but I still think there's very little evidence really out there yet to say we're not in the little season. Just dogmatic belief that's holding people back from seeing it, And I get a lot of messages from people outraged, saying but what about the dry bones, man? Where are the two witnesses? What happened there? And it's kind of, those are not solid arguments against this theory, unfortunately. What I'm saying is, yes, that already happened. The two witnesses have already been here. It's done. And the dry bones and the resurrection of those people, it already happened. It's already done. What do you think you personally was going to be a witness to those things? Do you think you're that special? And who were the two witnesses? Well, there's many theories on that, isn't there? But we can speculate till the end of time, but what we do know is Jesus Christ said he was coming back imminently, not 2,000 years later, so we can only take the Saviour's word, as gospel. That's what I'm going to do. And we can work backwards from there and remain in ignorance about some things. Because we're not God, are we? How are we supposed to know everything that he knows and what's happened in the past? Our historical record is utterly destroyed. They don't call it a little season of deception for nothing, where everybody gets deceived, where, Satan deceives all the nations to surround the camp of saints. It's got to be a pretty big deception, right? Perhaps the greatest deception to convince all humanity to turn against the beloved city. How on earth is he going to do that? Well, he'd have to convince everybody that it's not the Saviour. Because no one in their right mind would go and fight against God like that. It would have to have been lied to. They'd have to think it was something else. People would have to think that there is an imminent threat to their very existence to be convinced of such a thing. And the alien agenda fits perfectly, doesn't it, with the great deception. So I get those idiots out there say things to me like, Paul, what you're spreading is the great deception. Yeah, this is the great deception of the devil in the end times. Oh, you'll be sorry when tribulation comes. A lot of people are really, really going to be in for a surprise thanks to you when the rapture happens. And it's kind of get over yourself. Honestly, get over yourself. You think what I'm doing, what I'm saying, is the great deception of Satan. Surely, what, all 255 of us here, we're deceiving the whole world, are we? We're nothing. We're tiny. We're a tiny, minute amount of people who have even contemplated this idea in Christendom alone. Never mind the rest of the world who doesn't even know we exist, or that there even is a conspiracy. This is not the great deception. Okay? The great deception is more than likely the thing that the majority of people in the little season believe, right? That would be a great deception. The other way around. You know? That's just my opinion on the matter. And I guess that's my presentation, guys. I guess that's it. You know, I went on a little bit. I do that. That's what I do. I rant and I rave. I'm going to have a sip of coffee, check the chat, and we're going to have a bit of a therapy session with you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your opinions on all of this. Let me know, where you stand. How have you been? You know, have you been dealing with friends and family lately, trying to tell them these things? What's the reaction been? What's the kickback been? Have people been open and accepting to these ideas, or a bit more like, you're crazy, I don't want to talk to you ever again type of attitude? Let me know. Let me know, guys. So I'm going to scroll back in the chat. Wendy, I just saw the super chat there. Thanks for the memberships, guys. So Wendy has kindly gifted 5 memberships to random people out there. And I do post things on the members only. But to access anything on the members of YouTube, you have to pay the $5 minimum. Only because my patrons also pay $5 minimum to get access to all the stuff on there. So it's only fair. Okay, I don't want people on YouTube getting access to things and paying less than what my patrons pay. So you do have a $2, I think, and a $3 option, but you have to pay the $5 option on members for YouTube in order to get access to the stuff, to the videos, to the members only stuff, because that matches the price people are paying to get access to everything on Patreon as well. So that's all it is. But yeah, Wendy's gifted some memberships there. Go check out what's available. A lot of it does eventually become public, so not all of it stays on there. But you do get a lot of early access to stuff through the membership program. So thanks, Wendy. I appreciate that. Let me just scroll back as far as it'll allow me. There we go. And now I am going to... Okay, I don't have much. Okay, so I don't have much. Start your questions now. If you have any commentary about what I've just said, now's your chance to say it. I'll get to it. But I only have, like, the chat up to 10 minutes ago. That's all I've got, okay? I don't get to see it all, unfortunately. So I've got... Pearl says, even when I was a normie, I didn't trust Elon, lol. Yeah, he's got that look about him, hasn't he? Pantson the Ground says, Genesis, the first 4 or 5 verses seems to be a scene of destruction and reset. Darkness fell over the earth and God said, no more. Let there be light. Yeah, I've heard that theory before, that there was a time before the creation as we know it now. I've heard Gary Wayne say that was the time of the gods. And it's the time discussed in Hindu mythology. Because Hindu mythology talks about this time where there weren't humans on the earth, but there was nothing but gods. And there was a massive war. And it was like a nuclear war that just... The weapons these guys were using were just ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, wiping out thousands of miles worth of land with just one strike. Ridiculous. Like, they were just the weapons of the gods, you know? And they had this massive war that just decimated everything, and then God started again, and that's where Genesis begins. I've heard that theory, but I don't know about that. I wasn't there. So let's see what's going on. I've got a... I do see deleted messages, so I'm just seeing what's being deleted here. Okay, fair enough. It isn't just screen time, James. It comes through audio as well. So I missed something here. What if Elon is creating the arch to save the believers from the end of this season? What? Okay, England, I don't know what that means. England's emo, you'll have to elaborate. I'm telling all my family slowly. They already think I'm weird. Oh well, the cross I bear, says Wendy Platt. It's the cross we all bear. We're all kind of dealing with it, aren't we? I understand. But good for you for attempting to tell them. That's brave. It's a brave step to take. Stand steadfast. Don't let other people dictate what you believe. If they call you crazy, let them call you crazy. They're just words at the end of the day. It means nothing. The truth is the truth. You hold steadfast in that truth, regardless of what other people think of you. And you know what? People will respect you more for doing that, even if they do think you're crazy. And that's maybe the best we can hope for in some level. But when everything does go down, they'll be coming to you. They'll be asking you, what does Wendy think about all of this? She's been saying stuff like this for a while. This seems to be matching up. It'll all come full circle, is what I'm trying to say. So hold steadfast. Keep holding the truth as truth, and don't let other people dictate what you believe. That's for sure. 5 years ago, I was dead asleep. It's a process, and every individual is at their own point in the journey, I think, says Vaughn. Absolutely. It takes time. It takes years to get through all the conspiracy stuff to a logical, reasonable, truthful, solid, calm conclusion. The first 5 years of waking up, I would say, are tumultuous. It's chaos. It's a mental mess. Like, you are just going through the motions for like 5 years is probably a good way to describe it. Because you've got to learn. First of all, you've got to learn all the knowledge, and that takes time. That takes time to go through every rabbit hole and discover each individual data point of. I keep saying data point. I've seen Archaic's posts. He loves saying data points all the time, and now it's coming to my own vernacular. I don't know why I'm saying that, but you have to go through like loads of different points of information to get the holistic image, and then you have to deal with that, and that's like a traumatic process that takes like years in and of itself. So you need 2 years just to learn all the stuff. You need like 2 years to process all the stuff. And then you need like another year or two to deal with the fact that you just lost all your friends and family because you went all gun-ho trying to tell them all this stuff from a point of insanity. And then you have to pick up the pieces for another couple of years. And then eventually it all settles down again. Your life's been rejigged and reevaluated based upon the truth rather than the lies. And then you get to a point maybe 10 years later where you're like me, where it's like you take it all in your stride, you have a laugh about it, and you're kind of back to your normal self again. But it's a process. It's a long process. And I empathize with everybody in different stages of that process. Usually it starts with being hyper new age spiritual frequency stuff. And you've got to get through all that before you eventually even get to the Jesus truth. You start off atheistic, then spiritualistic, and then Christian. That's how it tends to go. That's the conspiracy theorist journey. Okay. If you're honestly seeking for truth, that's where you will end up. We'll see if that's, I don't know where you are on your journey, but I bet it sounds familiar. Cult of Connor, I love a link to that presentation you mentioned. Is he talking about his own, the one that got banned from YouTube? Yeah, he did a great presentation about the Nephilim horde. I got him to come on my channel and the last Truth Therapy sessions, and he reshared his entire theory on the release of the horde at the end times to coincide with the fake alien invasion. And we talked about the Gears of War on there as well, and how they kind of told you all that in programming in that video game. It was a good talk. Absolutely good talk, yeah. Cult of Con says, if Musk is the Antichrist, I'm going to be disappointed. He sucks. That's right. Well, he's not, is he? He's just another useful character in this time, I would say. I've got a lot of deleted messages here. Odd. Seems odd that these messages are deleted. I'm not even going to mention them or give them any credence. I'm going to trust my mods on this one. Short seasonist. If I find it, I'll share it among the Telegram group. Yes, so yeah, for context, if you guys aren't already a member of the Telegram group, I have a Telegram group. Go and check it out. It is linked in the description of this video down here, so you don't have to ask me where the link is. It's there. Just press the Read More tab and it'll all appear, and you'll see the link that'll send you straight to Telegram. My email's there as well. Lots of links are there, in fact. So go and check that out and join the Telegram if you haven't already. And there's always some extra after-show conversations going on. There's lots of good stuff going on, actually, on there all the time. So go check it out. Right, let me just keep going down. I was texting my cousin last night about the little season, and she just shut it right down. She shut it down right away. Lol, she's looking into it now. Oh, she didn't shut it down right away. That's good. That's brilliant. Well done. My sister thinks that I'm in a cult since I became a Christian, says Villa. Villa, am I right in are you the one who You send me messages on Instagram quite a lot, showing loads of cool things as well. Are you the same person? Or am I speaking to someone else here? But yeah, I'm sorry that tends to be how most non-Christian people view Christians. And you can thank the media for that. Hopefully, these shows and these conversations show that actually, we're just people. We're just people like everybody else who have become privy to a certain set of information which has helped us see things from a perspective not often seen. That's primarily what being a Christian is. And also it's understanding that there's hope. I mean, Christians are the only ones with any message of hope, really. Like, there aren't many other religions that can offer what Christianity offers people. So, it's not all bad. And yeah, sadly, the Christian image is tainted by Ned Flanders, among other examples as well in mainstream media. Sorry, guys, just trying to catch up with the chat here. A very good presentation, says Biggles Recycles, the Bristol Pedal Revolution. And I hope that's a bit of a plug for your company there. Go check out Bristol's Pedal Revolution and Biggles Recycles, eh? But yeah, thanks. I'm glad you liked the presentation. It wasn't really well planned out. I just kind of went for it. So I know, you know what I'm like. I'm a bit all over the place, but I think you understood my thought process behind what I was showing you there. The blank gives people a MAC address. So it was the mark of the beast, and they can read your thoughts if blanked. What is good is the beast computer Azure was disarmed, says Nada Nove. See, no, it wasn't the thing. The thing I'm not allowed to say the name of wasn't the mark of the beast. That's not what it is. The mark of the beast already happened. The mark of the beast was more than likely money in the time of Nero, which the Israelites were forced to use and weren't able to buy or sell without the using the mark of the beast, the charagma, which is the coinage or the imprint on money. So no, that's already happened, and it isn't as big of a thing as like we make it out today in our time. But there are many examples today where they try and tell you this is the mark of the beast, and it sounds like you may have fallen for that narrative a little bit. No, what the blank is that we're not allowed to discuss is just a new method of tagging and controlling you and probably killing you as well, and making you weak and susceptible. And also another vessel and means to get parasites inside of you as well, what I'm learning, which obviously strengthens the ability of the demonic realm to have influence over you in this realm. So it's a multifaceted attack on humanity, yes, but the mark of the beast, no. I would say that. That's my own opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Well, I wouldn't think so because it's my opinion. So there you go. The book was awesome, Paul. Oh, thank you, Short Seasonist. I'm glad you liked it. CERN sitting above the temple of Apollyon, Abaddon, isn't a coincidence. That's correct. Oh, they've planned that well, and having Shiva, the goddess of destruction, stood in her portal at the front as well isn't a coincidence either, is it? And the mock sacrifice ritual that some of the people who work there were caught doing on VHS video camera all those years ago, that also isn't a coincidence. Don't understand this rhetoric around Elon. He seems to be an entrepreneur with positive outreach, says England's emo. Okay, well, if you still believe that about these characters put in front of you on the world stage, on the media, mainstream media, I can't really help you, England's emo. If you still have that view of these characters, you have a lot of work to do. Because nothing I'm going to say is going to convince you. I need to tell you right now, the whole world is a stage, okay? And there are actors on that stage, and you're just a viewer. It's a big club, and you're not in it. Okay, and they're putting on a performance of a lifetime for us to lead us down specific paths that they have already predetermined for us to get us to their inevitable agenda's conclusion, which is to make war with the camp of saints and to turn us against our Saviour. That's all it is. It's Masonic theatre. There aren't the good guys and the bad guys on the media fighting it out and the good guys are going to win or something. No. It's not the Masonic black and white checkerboard battle you think it is. It's a show. Okay? The revolution will not be televised. There's some truth in that. Okay? The fake revolution is going to be televised, however. They will televise their revolution, and they'll make sure everybody's following the narrative. Get in line or else. So no, he is not your friend. Elon Musk is not this billionaire is not your friend. Okay? He's not got your interests to heart. He doesn't care about you. Okay? Let every man be a liar and God be the truth. You know? You need to get right with God and Jesus to save you. Elon's not going to save you. Okay? And you shouldn't really be worried about saving your flesh anyway. That's not the point. You need to focus on your eternal soul. What comes after this? Eternity is where you should have your eye on, the new heaven, the new earth, the kingdom. Because you will lose your life. He's not going to save that. The immortal spaceman, not really lost then, but I understood my place in the hearts, the way they looked at me and dismissed me when I tried to tell them about giants. So I'm guessing that's talking about you losing your family and friends, but you didn't really lose them, but you could see the way they look at you differently from then on. Yeah, I've been there. It's funny, a bit of an interpersonal moment here, but I had a childhood friend I grew up with, and we'd lived down the road from each other since being like 5 years old, and he was my best friend. You know, we grew up together, we did everything together. And maybe it was, in hindsight, I look back, and I was probably a friend of convenience, because we were just down the road from each other. And, you know, I had a shed he could play in, and as we got older and teenagers, we would smoke in there, because my parents would allow that kind of thing, you know, and I was a friend of convenience looking back, but you know, we shared a lot of moments and times together. We grew up together, and I considered him my best friend. And then we went to university, and I started doing my thing, learning about conspiracies. And as we met up with each other at Christmas time and things like this, as we got older, you know, he would listen to me go on and rant and do my thing, you know, and he'd be like, what the hell is Paul going on about? You know, he'd argue with me about everything, and he just wasn't having it. You know, he's like, no, Paul, you're insane. This is all stupid. And I heard that he'd like said to like my other members of my friend group, like, what the hell's happened to Paul? Or what the hell has happened to this guy? You know, who is this? This isn't Paul. And it seemed like he got to terms with it. This is who I am now. Okay, these are the things I believe, and I'm going to stick to my guns on this one, whether you like it or not. And I never stopped being his friend. You know, we were best friends. You know, we grew up together. We did everything together. I trust him the most, type of thing. And I assumed it was the same for me as well. Anyway, as we became adults, you know, I was getting married. This is like years after seeing him, but you know, I have friends, another friend I've not seen in years, but when we do see each other, it's like nothing's changed, you know. And I thought the same of this person too. I thought, like, well, it doesn't matter how long apart we've been. I'm sure when I see him, it will just be like always, you know. But it wasn't. Because I invited him to my wedding, and he quite literally said to me, no, I'm okay. It's fine. We haven't talked to each other in so long. We don't even know each other anymore. You know, we have different lives now. I don't think it's personal or anything. It's just, we're just not friends anymore. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Like, you're not going to come to my wedding? My childhood friend of like 20 years? What? And that kind of got solidified recently, because I just discovered he just got married like a week ago. So, done. But that's someone I lost because of this stuff. And it wasn't because of the distance or the time or anything like that, because he still meets up with other people who haven't talked to him in years. And it's because of this stuff. He lost respect for me, is what it was. Like, he no longer considered me someone worthy of being his friend, basically. And maybe we were never truly friends to begin with. And I guess, you know, the truth comes to bring a sword, doesn't it? It comes to divide brothers and family and friends. That's what it does. It draws lines, you know, and I was a Christian, steadfast in that, and a conspiracy theorist on the side, but I think it was truly the Christianity that got to him. Because prior to that, we grew up atheistic brothers, you know, all science and all logic type people. And for me to then join the other team was unforgivable to him, in a sense. And also, he just thought, well, Paul's clearly an idiot. Clearly, he's an absolute moron fool who I never should have been friends with to begin with. He's just stupid. Like, I know that's probably what he thought. But it's sad, because I never once considered him to no longer be a friend. And that's kind of what happens, you know, and still forgive the guy. Don't get me wrong. If I did see him again, I suppose I wouldn't really hold it against him. Maybe I wouldn't be his friend anymore necessarily because I know he doesn't want to hang around with me. But it's kind of, I wouldn't hold it against him because I guess I understand in a sense. But it happens. That's what happens, family members can treat you like this too. You can lose friends and family over this. And I know there are people out there who send me messages that has been exactly the case. And, I want this show to be one of these places where I can share a story like that with you and make you realize, yeah, you're not alone. We're all going through it. And primarily the mistake we all make is that we come on a little bit too strong, don't we, at the start? Because we're excited, we've learned all these truths, we want to tell our loved ones, we want them to be saved too, and we come on a little bit too strong, and it tends to push people away rather than bring them to you. And we need to develop better methods, don't we, to spreading these things and teaching these things, so we don't utterly just destroy all our bridges straight away. But it's easier said than done. I completely understand. I'm constantly met with blank stares, says Cage Fighter. Yeah. So many fear the truth now, says Visionary Vet. Yeah, Pearl Myers. Yeah, after talking biblical cosmology, my family isn't surprised with my convo topics anymore. Exactly, yeah. Like I said, my family now know I'm crazy, and they're over it now. They've moved past it, and we just don't talk about it, It's like, well, okay, whatever. Have fun living a lie. But no. I still love them. Like, whatever. When the time comes, I'm sure they'll come to me when they want some answers about stuff. And that's fine. Paul, is that pumpkin spice? No, it's just a straight up latte. It's a homemade latte with my own coffee machine, ground beans, froth the milk myself, and I reuse the cup I used this morning, which came from a machine, a Costa cup. And this is not, I'm not sponsored by Costa. This is just happens to be what's going on right now. Out of all the drinks out there, Costa coffee is the best flavor in terms of flavor, I would say, for mainstream, popular coffee. Man can't create the effect, so they create the cause, hoping for the desired effect. This is why they are faking many signs. What does causality equal? 666. Okay. Faith is a great base to keep you grounded through the swamp, says Von. I agree. It is. Without my faith, I don't know how I would have got through all of this, really. And I know, until I found my faith, how desperate and horrific it was to exist in a world where you know about the evil controllers. There's no hope once you realize everything's controlled by Satanists and Luciferians and evil people. Where do you go from there? But then once you realize the truth, okay, so that's why Jesus was here, and that's why he died on the cross, and this enemy is actually defeated. And we have all authority in the spiritual aspect of all of this over them all, and they know it. And they're actually running scared in a way and scrambling to keep us suppressed because they know our true power and authority. It changes things. It switches the game, And they can only get us there through ignorance of the truth. But once you understand your authority and power in Christ and your membership in the kingdom, and no fear. It's gone, and you can take all of these things in your stride, knowing that we win, and we have won. And this is the sad thing. It's kind of like all we have to do is point out these obviously evil people doing evil things, and in a way they've tried to twist that so it's kind of, we want you to expose us, you're actually helping us, blah blah blah, until we point out, no, you're playing a double blind game where you're going to create a false light and a false darkness, so people turn to the false light. Once you pointed that out, then it's game over, isn't it? It's like, okay, so now we're screwed. But a lot of people are still trapped in that. Look at all these evil satanic people doing evil satanic things. Oh, we need Jesus to come and save us. It's clearly Revelation time. It's clearly the tribulation's about to happen any moment. If you've got people still in that, then yeah, they'll fall for the false savior when he rocks up. You know what I mean? But if you can point out the double blind that's being played against us and get past that duality they've created, and you realize the false light they're going to offer is fake, and then you've beat them. And it's kind of the irony is the Christians are going to call it Christ, but the New Agers have also been prepared for this, and they're going to call it the Maitreya. They're going to call it the Lightbringer, you know, and they're going to be this universalist view of like all religions kind of got it right type of view, you know. But as soon as you get out of that paradigm and realize we're way past the coming of Christ and we're waiting for final judgment at the end of time, everything shifts. All the deception crumbles very quickly, and suddenly you can watch these end times ministry productions type channels showing the signs of tribulation coming upon us and the trumpets and the veils being poured out and all this type of thing. And you can cringe. You can watch it and go, oh, they are way off. They have no idea what's actually going on, do they? You know, and I think we need to understand, and as we were talking about with the holographic technology is way beyond what we comprehend and what we're told. And they can fake things like rocket boosters coming down. You know, they can fake that kind of stuff. Once you realize that potential they have, then you have to realize they can also make a pretty convincing go at a tribulation event. They can use all their technology in tandem to utterly make it seem like God's wrath is upon us. They can make earthquakes in diverse places. They can set off every single volcano at once through their technology. They can project anything they want in the sky at any moment through the heavy metal particulates that are up there now in tandem with the frequency weaponry on the floor. They can do anything and make anything happen at any moment. Well, you know, it can be pretty convincing at least. You know, it'll never be what God was capable of. It'll be 1% of God's capabilities and God's wrath. But to us, it'll seem like the full hand of God coming down, bringing judgment, tribulation, judgmental, righteous judgment upon us all or something. But, you know, they have the ability to do all of this. They have the technology. They have the power, you know, and they just need to ideologically line us all up. So when they unleash that upon us, we believe what they need us to believe about what's happening. That's what programming's for. That's what the end goal of it all really is. And yeah, so you need to learn that, you know, these people can fake it. And they're working on faking it. That's the plan. And they're going to also throw into the whole mix alien invasion, which will then utterly destroy both the atheists and the Christians at the same time, you know, and it's like all that type of thing. Because these aliens will also claim to be interdimensional too, you know, so there is a spiritual world, but the Christians got it wrong. So the atheists are like, oh, we were wrong. There is a God, but the Christians were wrong too. It's not that God, you know, it's that kind of stuff. That's Albert Pike's plan, isn't it? World War III. Foment World War III to utterly destroy both Israel and Jews and Muslims and atheists and Christians. All of them will get destroyed. And this new religion will rise. For the new world order, you know. It's all being established now, and it's a long-term plan. But the new world order is only established during a little season of Satan. Okay, prior to the millennial kingdom, prior to the 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth, which already happened, prior to the point where Satan was locked up to 1,000 years, it wasn't called a new world order. It was called Rome. And now Satan's been released after 1,000 years in captivity, and his earthly minions have established total control over every resource. Now they're building a new world order out of the old world order that was just established, the 1,000-year reign of Christ. Where the devil was kept, you know, away for 1,000 years and kept out of the way, and mankind can do some amazing things when the devil's not over his shoulder. But now he's back. You know, this new world order is just a re-emergence of Rome, which was there prior to the collapse, prior to the establishment of the 1,000-year reign of Christ. It's just a reimagining of Rome. And they're going to call it a new world order, rising out of the ashes of the old. And the old world order was Christ's rule. Christ's 1,000-year reign. And Christ never stopped ruling. This is the irony of it all. He's just giving Satan one little season to build his Tower of Babel once more before just the final destruction of it all. You know, And really, I suppose this time is a test for us who are here. In a way, it's kind of okay. So who are you going to choose? Now's your chance to make your choice. Are you gonna go fight the camp of saints? Are you gonna go make war with God, or are you gonna finally humble yourself and realize you are not God? You cannot win a war against God. And what we have in store is far better than what the devil's promising. And there's this funny humor God has, this irony behind it all, which is kind of no matter what the devil does to try and push us away from him, all it ever seems to do is push us closer to God. He's stuck in this endless cycle of misery. Like everything he does to kind of like push us away from God just brings us closer. Because we're smart. We're made in the image of God at the end of the day. And because we have things like gut feelings and senses, and this reasoning capability and this connection to the Holy Spirit and to God made in his image, it's hard to fool us. Like they can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all the people all the time. And it's constantly in flux of people waking up all the time. And the devil's just always trying to keep us asleep, but we just keep popping up. It's like whack-a-mole for him. He can't do it because we're not easily fooled, really. He'd like to tell us and convince us through the media that we're all just sheep who are easily fooled all the time. But I don't think so. You talk to any person out there. Just pick a random person in the street. I know people can seem to all blend into each other in the crowd, can't they? And they all just seem the same. Look at them out there, those sheeple. They don't know what's going on, But you just pick any random person out of the crowd and talk to them for 20 minutes. And you realize the levels of depth that one individual has to the psyche is unfathomable, unreachable. It's an endless well of knowledge and resources and experiences and divinity, a connection to God, Made in the image of God. Fearfully made. And it's easy for us to fall into that trap, isn't it? Thinking, people are idiots. The masses are all stupid. There's nothing to them. And yeah, there's a herd mentality issue. When mobs get together, they tend to lose themselves to the mob, and there's problems. But the individual is smarter than we give them credit for. Every individual, even the lowest IQ individual, they have this thing called common sense, which is far beyond IQ and knowledge points. It's like a deep set inner knowing that is beyond mankind's measurements of intelligence. It's kind of, I believe in people. Obviously, above all people, I believe in Christ and God above everything. But I have faith in people. I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to figure it out. I don't think the devil's going to win this one easily, and I don't think we're going to be as tricked as much as they make it out to be. I think even if it comes to like the very last minute, a lot of people will go, "Wait a minute, why are we fighting against this giant spaceship again?" And it's kind of, wait a minute. I remember hearing something on YouTube like 10 years ago about this. It's like, is this really aliens? Like something will happen last minute, and the devil will be like, "No, come on, keep going, guys. We're almost there." And everyone will be like, "Wait a minute, hang on." And then fire comes down, and I don't, this is controversial. What I'm about to say right now, I don't think is necessarily true. I don't know, biblically grounded. You can refute this if you want or whatever it is. And I'm not saying I necessarily believe this either. But I do wonder if people say it's like you have to accept Christ before you die, because by then it's too late. I'm not sure about that. I don't think when we die, we die. I think the soul is eternal. It could be possible we can accept Christ after death as well, maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. All right? But I feel like there's something going on here. Because didn't Christ, when he died and went to the harrowing of hell, didn't he preach to the dead? And I assume those dead who saw Christ believed in him then and accepted him as their savior in that moment, because it's undeniable, right? Maybe there's something like that in store for the rest of us, and humanity does win in the end, and those who can't have that salvation, let's say the Nephilim or the demons or Satan and the angels, who I don't know, but I kind of have faith that people are going to figure it out one way or the other, whether in this life or the next, and they're going to accept Jesus Christ as King of Kings and Lord of all, and all authority given to him under God. I think people are going to realize that in the end. I think maybe the new heaven and earth is in store for all those made in the image of God, as God intended originally. All things made whole again, But I don't know. I can't map that out. I think that I had some guests on. Well, I was on a guest on a show, the ATX Gym Bats, the Batcave podcast, and towards the end, they were kind of talking like their own beliefs, like universalism in a sense, that all humans are going to be brought to salvation one way or the other, you know. And there was some contention in the chat, like, well, universalism is kind of, it makes people think they can sin, and it doesn't matter, they're all going to be saved anyway, or any religion will lead to salvation. And I don't believe that myself. I think only through Christ can you be saved. But I do have this feeling, and I have no proof of this, that God is working on that. He's working on getting every human being made in his image to accept Christ as their savior. And it's kind of like, as a good shepherd, he won't leave any of his sheep behind. And that power of gift of repentance, as explained in Acts, you know, in Peter's vision of the towel with the animals, and then going to the Gentiles' house to preach the gospel, and then accepting it and being baptized, and then going to all the other Israelites and saying what happened, it says, and they're like, whoa. So there we have it. Even the gift of repentance is given to the Gentiles now, you know, all people under God in the end. Preach to all nations, you know, it doesn't matter who you are. Gender, creed, sex, religion, race, whatever it is, wherever you're from, as long as you're a person going back to Adam, salvation is for you. You know, and that's amazing, isn't it? That gift is there. And yeah, I think there is an element you have to choose, you have to make the choice. And blessed are those who make the choice in faith without all the evidence. You know, even those who didn't have a sign even have the faith, you know. But I think those, in the end, it'll be undeniable that Christ is king. And they'll still accept him then, you know, and maybe it will take them having to go to war with the camp of saints and being obliterated before they realize it was Christ all along. Maybe that's what I don't know. I don't know. And I think I'm okay with not knowing some of these things. But there's some people out there who are like, you must have all the answers now or else you're a liar or a shill or something. Or it's kind of like, you must believe the way I believe it or else you're just some kind of heathen out there spreading false doctrine. It's kind of like, oh, come on, who the hell knows God's plan thoroughly? Like, even Jesus didn't know the day or the hour. Like, some things are held back from us, you know, and that, I think that's the great mystery of God, isn't it? That there is a mystery. Thank God there's still some mystery, okay? I guess it's exciting to try and figure it all out. But everything I've just said for the past 15 minutes are just musings on ideas. Okay, I don't know the truth on some of these things, to be honest. Who knows? Honestly, who knows? But it's amazing to think that we do live during this time where we're going to see the final end game of everything come together. And a lot of people who believe in the tribulation doctrine and the coming rapture, they think they're in the end times, but it's odd that they call it that, because biblically speaking, it's not the end. It's far from the end, actually. There's still like 1,000 years to go, at least. You know, if when tribulation comes upon us, or came upon us, there was still this time period of 1,000 years that had yet to unfold on earth after tribulation. But they all believe that it is the end times, and that there has to be something to be said for that. That deception was layered on to today's time, where people are waiting for the end times. They think it's going to be the definitive end when it's not. Do you get what I mean? There's something about that language choice that's been put onto this dispensationalist futurist ideology that is an even deeper deception to it all. Because a lot of people, I keep getting told this in emails, like they were never told about the destruction of the temple in 70 AD, or they never even discussed Revelation 20 in the short season. It's like it didn't exist. You know, it's like the pastors just never once mentioned it to them, and they never bothered to see it for themselves, and it was never brought up in any seminary school or anything like that. And if it ever was brought up, it's like a side note. Oh, that's just a time way in the future where the devil's going to be released for like a very short period of time and then quickly defeated. It's nothing. It'll be done and dusted. It's over with, whatever. Let's move on, you know? And it's kind of, whoa. It says there will be 1,000 years where the devil is locked up after the tribulation, and where the saints will be resurrected and rule with Christ for 1,000 years during that time. And then he's released and has a time to deceive all the nations. That's a hell of a footnote. Like, that's one hell of a footnote. 1,000 and something extra years after tribulation. We're just still going to breeze past that, so it doesn't matter, and it means nothing. And where they get this idea from, that it's an eternal kingdom from then on, forever and ever and ever, and the new heaven and earth comes after tribulation. It's like, it doesn't even say that either. So why do people have these beliefs? It's confusing to me, and I feel like it's only because they were raised in a church that they end up with that kind of worldview, because it was preached to them, and they put their faith and trust in the man telling them these things. And I bet even the man telling them these things didn't know, because he was told from his superiors what he's supposed to tell the people in front of him. And it's kind of, there's clearly some hierarchical, odd control system going on with modern churches today for this to only just being discussed now on YouTube by me. Like, what? How did that happen? How was this missed? That some nobody in the northwest of England with a YouTube channel is talking about this, and everyone's like, whoa, you're blowing my mind. How is that possible? How am I the one blowing people's mind and making them hear about this for the first time? Like, I'm shocked and appalled that I'm the one having to talk about this. Like, what the hell? That's weird, right? It's weird. But I'm guessing maybe God works in mysterious ways. I don't know what's going on here. It's weird by any stretch of the imagination. My wife's in an argument with somebody. Fair enough. I don't know what's going on there. Something to do with Randall. Chill or something. Is he gone? I can't see his letter. I don't know. Something about I missed. I can't find the question. Randall Hill. I'm guessing you don't believe in the little season theory, so you're saying, "Where's your evidence?" Something like that. Something about inconvenient scripture. I don't know. I missed. I don't know what's going on. I'm seeing a lot of anger towards the theory now, and people defending it. No arguments in the chat over this. I'm not a preacher or a pastor. I'm not here to tell you what I'm saying is gospel truth, but I am pointing out some serious issues with futurism here, like serious problems. And the words of God Himself from the mouth of Jesus Christ, He told you emphatically, without a shadow of doubt, I'm coming back quickly in this time period, and people standing in front of me now will see me come with my kingdom in the clouds. Okay, that's pretty solid set, and it likely happened about 40 years later, in 70 AD, like when the temple was destroyed, and Josephus was talking about chariots of fire in the sky raining down upon it, judgment upon Jerusalem, And history after that, who knows what's the truth? But there's plenty of evidence out there to show that the 1,000-year period we call the Dark Ages was wonderful and Christian-led. Like, it was actually building the most beautiful buildings we've ever seen on Earth, prior and never since, It's kind of, something happened, and our history's a lie, and Christ made it clear He was coming back quickly. So you can point to some random verse here and there and say, this crushes your belief system. It's kind of, yeah, but it doesn't discount everything I just said. There's issues that need confronting here, and the little season theory does answer those problems. And it doesn't give answers and definitive, clear, well, this is this now, and that's that, and that's that. It leaves it up to us to pick up the pieces and figure out what's going on then. And I'm not going to be told off because I'm trying to pick up the pieces. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but at least I'm a good go at it. I'm giving it a good old fashioned try. It's the best I can do. Paul, it is because of your experience with psychedelics then coming to Christ, you open channels that other Christians have not. I don't know what that means. You mean like channels to the demonic realm? I think those are pretty much closed now. I don't have flashbacks anymore, and I haven't touched anything like that in like well over a decade and then some. But there was a period of time when I was early in my faith, still getting to grips with my belief, you know, and putting on the armor of God and getting into the Word, where I was being attacked quite regularly by demons. But I think I put a solid, swift end to that when I learned about the authority of Jesus Christ and using His name. And I think it's more of a, well, we better not do that again because He knows what to do now. Seems to be, and a lot of people, even a lot of people who are Christians out there, don't understand that they have that authority, or don't have that faith to believe it would work. So we're still demonically oppressed. And I think we're all on different levels when it comes to stuff like spiritual warfare, and I don't know, but I don't quite know what you're trying to say there necessarily. Randall wants to know, in the preterist view, when knowledge increased to and fro. Well, probably when the whole gospel was being preached to the whole earth, right? When Paul was going out there to the Gentiles and preaching the gospel to when the apostles were spreading the gospel to the whole earth. That's pretty much knowledge being increased. And, you know, Christ explained prior to that, my people perish through lack of knowledge. But then once the whole gospel has been preached to the earth, then everyone has all the knowledge they need to no longer perish. So I assume that time is when knowledge increased. Real knowledge, not Gnostic nonsense. Knowledge that matters. Knowledge about the true salvation of humanity and mankind, what it takes to be saved. Well, the whole gospel was preached to all four corners of the earth, and then tribulation came. And the destruction of the temple happened, and everything began then. And I'm pretty sure there's a passage in the Bible where Paul mentions it. Joe has this passage up, and I keep forgetting it. I need to put it down in my file. But Paul clearly says, now that the gospel has been preached to the whole earth, this gospel which has been preached to the whole earth, it made it clear that Paul has done it. It's been done now. The apostles have done the job. The Great Commission is complete. It's time now. It's time for the coming. So that's probably when it happened in the preterist world, you know. But I'm not a preterist. I mean, preterism is like a formalized belief system created by a Jesuit in like the 1600s. This is something else. I'm like a little seasonist, and I'm not, my belief system, I'm quite of the belief that I think it's a literal 1,000-year kingdom on earth, not a spiritual one. And I know there's contention, and I could be wrong on that front. Who knows? It could be that it was just all the spiritual rain trickling down to humans on our plane from on high, maybe. But I'm starting to think there was literal like kingdoms, physical buildings being made, probably manifesting, made by angels or something, and there was literal saints walking around that you could go and see in like perfected bodies, and maybe Christ was literally walking on earth or had a kingdom physically somewhere you could make a pilgrimage to, you know. I'm leaning more towards that. But I know a lot of other people are saying, you know, it was all spiritual. Maybe preterism more lines up with that spiritual worldview. But again, these are like theological nuances and tidbits you can argue with till the end of time. But fundamentally, what I'm saying is Christ was not a liar when he said he was coming soon in his time. That's all I can say. That's all I can go off, really. From everything else is up for speculation, as far as I'm concerned. He just answered your question, bro. Okay. Okay, whatever. Randall, you know, you come in, you if you get all blustery about stuff, then people are going to start talking back to you in the way you didn't appreciate. That's the way it goes. If you want me to answer your question, you need to like highlight my name or something, or find a way, or if you want me to get straight to it, and the only way it really highlights to me immediately, because I'm using OBS, I'm not currently on the YouTube app, so just tagging my name doesn't always come through for me. Leave a tiny super chat, like a penny or something, and it will highlight your question immediately to me, and I can see it. That's the guaranteed way to get it straight away. Until then, you're gonna have to wait till I find it, if I even find it, if I even come to it. I got 250 people here, and I've got hundreds of messages coming through, and I'm scrolling the best I can to do what I can, you know. And that's so there you go. And look, I'm not trying to fall out with you over anything, but I'm trying to make it clear, you can't just suddenly throw this theory out because of one particular verse here you're adamant hasn't been fulfilled. Kind of like, well, what we're saying is a lot of these things were fulfilled, and we need to go and figure out when. We need to go and find out when, because to say it hasn't already happened is to make Christ a liar. And it's to make everything the apostles said and worked towards pointless in their time. They all believed it was going to happen in their life. Everything they did was working towards an imminent return in their time. And I don't think they were wrong. I really don't think they were wrong when they were going around performing miracles far greater than even Jesus performed, with the Holy Spirit in hand, spreading the gospel and converting everybody, the whole earth at that time, in preparation for the coming millennial kingdom and those who would be saved, and the coming tribulation and judgment. I think it all happened in their time. I don't think Jesus was wrong, and I don't think the apostles were wrong either. I don't know if someone's there saying, Kristen, I'm out of here. If you want to threaten me and say you're going to tie me out, I'll never come back. I just wanted a question answered. This is not a godly way to keep praying. It says, Randall, who's tying you out? And I did answer your question, and I don't know what your problem is there, Randall. I think I've been cordial and polite personally, so I don't understand. Knowledge and wisdom flows like a mighty river for the righteous as it did then, says Visionary. Yeah, well, I hope so. You guys are just like that flat earth. You get all bent out of shape when you can't answer your question. God bless, I'm out. I don't feel like I'm getting bent out of shape about anything. I'm pretty calm. And I've had 2 cups of coffee. I think I've just answered your question as well, quite legitimately. So I don't know what you're talking about, Randall. It sounds to me like you maybe have a bit of cognitive dissonance going on, and you'd rather say, right, I'm out of here, mic drop, and leave, than just keep quiet and listen for a little bit and take what you want and leave what you don't, like most normal people do. The choice to pursue self-knowledge, knowledge is powerful. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, says Ron G. That's a classic line there from Heard It Through the Grapevine, isn't it? Let's have a look. Appreciate you, but there's lots of others talking about this. It's been literally exploding for the past 4 years. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the first to talk about this. I'm just one guy to talk about this. I know. There's loads of people doing way better research than me on this. I'm a good summary guy. I summarize things, but there's a lot more people going into the hard, detailed scripture stuff. You know what I mean? And I implore you to go and check it out. Just type in Little Season Theory, Millennial Kingdom Theory, and you'll find a handful of powerful channels out there, who have been talking about this for a long, long time. So yeah, I'm not the be all end all of all this. I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying it's sad that I happen to be one of them. It's kind of weird that people, haven't heard this before, and that I'm the one that has to kind of say it. It's weird, like it's odd. Patience is I've always been told I'm quite patient. My dad says, "Oh, you have a patience of a saint." When my toddler's screaming, because he won't put his shoes on, and I'm just quietly sat there saying, let's breathe, let's just take our time, I'll let you just deal with this. But I don't, I have a short tether sometimes. I have limits to my patience. Randall's just caught me at a good time, let's put it that way. But to be honest, Randall, I don't think you've said anything out there that tests my patience in any way. I think you're probably just sincerely looking for truth like the rest of us and have questions. Fair enough, good luck. Go out there and see what you find. Let me know. Yeah, I've always been one to sit quietly for hours doing my own thing. I've been a patient child. I was the when I was like this age, as you see here, I was my parents were blessed to have a child like me who would sit quietly and just paint and draw for like 3 hours straight while they could do whatever they want, and I was happy doing that. This young blonde child, not ginger, but yeah, there you go. And on that note, I'm going to end the show there. I've been going for 2 hours. Thanks for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope I've answered some questions there, and we've had some fun speculating about some ideas. I hope you enjoyed the little presentation about Elon Musk in the middle. I'll probably crop that little thing out and post it as a video later in the week. Later tonight, I am going to be doing another show with Izzy N. Griffin, the musician, about the music industry and spiritual warfare. I don't know if that's going to be live. I might do a members-only live or something and get it to Patreon. But I will then probably take the audio and maybe add some images to it and re-upload later in the week as available to everyone thing. So I will be doing that again tonight. Busy for me, as you can see. I'm always working away behind the scenes. My wife, sometimes I have to wait 2 hours to talk to my husband because he's doing a live. Patience is a good thing to learn. That's right. My long-suffering wife. Let's all appreciate what she does for me, allowing me to sit here and talk with you guys for 2 hours while she looks after my son downstairs, our son. So, you know, I love you, Keely. Thank you for all of this. Thank you for everything you do for me. And I hope everyone appreciates what you do too. I'm sure they do. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. This is a team effort, as all marriages should be. So thank you, Keely. And thanks to all these people listening too. If you want to get a copy of the book, The Nephilim Look Like Clowns, get on Amazon, links down below. If you want a signed copy of one of this stack right here, I can send one to you personally. Just email me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com and we can sort that out and get that out to you as soon as possible. There have been many people who can testify that it's worked for them. And get your own signed copy, guys. And like I said, I'll be back soon with more videos. And I'm going to leave you with my public service announcement about the upcoming holiday, Halloween, and the true disease it is, and the cure for said disease. Thanks for listening, and as always, God bless.
When ordinary people think of autumn, they imagine shorter days, cozy fires, curling up with a great piece of literature, and basking in the warming scent of cinnamon with shades of burnt orange, which your other half has decided to spend the life savings on to decorate the home for only 2 months, just as God intended. Yet we must remember that this transition into the frosty abyss of winter creates the perfect conditions for the spread of the pathogen known as Halloween. This disease causes people to dress like demons and go door to door asking for free stuff. This public service announcement aims to give you the correct tool to help you deal with these contagious commie behaviors when they manifest in your local community. First, you'll want to arm yourself with multiple shots of the best-selling paperback on Amazon called The Nephilim Look Like Clowns. With this PPE, you're fully equipped and well protected to handle what's to come next. Second, have a pumpkin spice latte and white girl autumn your time away in knitted cream shackets and pilgrim hats, because soon enough, Samhain begins. This is when the veil between the spirit realm and the physical world is at its thinnest, and possession, the main symptom of Halloween, is more commonly presented, causing this type of unironic cringe to start happening. Just look at him. This poor soul thinks he looks cool. And if you're not careful, this could be you. Together we can stop the spread of Halloween and flatten the curve. When you see fully grown adults playing dress-up and mirroring unspeakable horrors from beyond the void, remember your training and cure their vapid sense of self-identity by handing them one of our favorably reviewed treatments. Your country must develop herd immunity to seasonal cringe. So, spread the cure far and wide. Just like the cure, this disease does not discriminate by age. Emulating the infected, you will see children running around in bedsheets, knocking on doors, begging for sugary treats, and threatening to damage your well-earned property. Make sure to fill their novelty buckets with the one thing all children secretly want: a well-rounded and relatable education in biblical history. That'll stop the spread. The Nephilim look like clowns, and the inevitable boost of volumes are currently the only known cure to thinly veiled demon channeling holidays. This is your best defense against this pandemic of spooky proportions. All you have to do is trust the science. Which you know we did because I'm showing you people wearing lab coats and looking serious. Get your copy on Amazon today, and be prepared for tomorrow. Side effects of reading The Nephilim Look Like Clowns include, but are not limited to, a feeling of existential crisis, a well-rounded knowledge of a Christian contrarian view on human history, a foundational understanding of spiritual warfare, and a healthy aversion to clowns.